The 3rd Cavalry Division was a division of the British Army in the First World War. It was formed at Ludgershall, Wiltshire, England in September 1914 under the command of Major-General the Hon. Julian Byng. The division moved to Belgium in the first week of October 1914, landing at Ostend, although its 3rd Brigade was only formed once there. During the war, the division took part in most of the major actions where cavalry were used as a mounted mobile force, and also many where the troops were dismounted and effectively served as infantry. On November 11, 1918, units of the division had reached the River Dender at Leuze and Lessines in Belgium, when orders were received that they would cover the advance of the British Second Army into Germany. They started the advance on November 17, divisional headquarters being established at Waterloo on November 21. The following winter was spent in Belgium, but by March 31, 1919, the division was demobilized. The 3rd Cavalry Division began forming on September 1, 1914 at Ludgershall, Wiltshire. Initially it commanded just 2 cavalry brigades, the 6th and the 7th, and Divisional Troops. The 6th Cavalry Brigade was formed with the 1st Dragoons and the 10th Hussars, both from Potchefstroom, South Africa, and the 3rd Dragoon Guards from the force in Egypt, though they did not join the brigade until November 4 in Belgium, the only regular British Army cavalry regiments not stationed in the United Kingdom or India at the outbreak of the war. The 7th Cavalry Brigade was formed with the 3 household cavalry regiments, the only regular cavalry regiments remaining in the United Kingdom after mobilization of the BEF and its transport to France. The 1st Life Guards joined from Hyde Park, the 2nd Life Guards from Regent's Park, and the Royal Horse Guards from Windsor. Each regiment only consisted of 2 squadrons, as each had provided a squadron to the Household Cavalry Composite Regiment in 4th Cavalry Brigade in August 1914. The detached squadrons did not rejoin their parent regiments until November 11, 1914 in Belgium. 15 Brigade, Royal Horse Artillery, and Brigade Ammunition Column was formed for the division. In peacetime, K Battery, RHA was at Christchurch, and C Battery, RHA at Canterbury. Later, G Battery, RHA, originally at Ipswich, would join in Belgium. Strangely, 2 RHA brigades formed early in the war were simultaneously designated as 15 Brigade, RHA. The other was formed at Leamington, Warwickshire in January 1915 for 29th Division. The 3rd Cavalry Division's brigade was renumbered as 4 Brigade, RHA in May 1915. The 3rd Field Squadron, Royal Engineers, was formed on September 16 and the 3rd Signal Squadron, Royal Engineers, on September 12, both at Ludgershall. The division was also provided with 2 cavalry field ambulances, 6th and 7th, 2 mobile veterinary sections, 13th and 14th, and a divisional supply column, 4 companies of the Army Service Corps. The division departed Ludgershall on October 5, embarked at Southampton on October 6 and landed at Ostend on October 8, 7th Brigade at Zeebrugge on October 7, and deployed to the Western Front in France and Belgium. The 3rd Cavalry Division served on the Western Front until the end of the war. In 1914, the division saw action in the defense of Antwerp, 9 and October 10, and the First Battle of Ypres, notably the battles of Langemarck, 21–24 October, Gallowald, 29–31 October, and Non-Boston, November 11. To bring the division up to the standard strength of 3 brigades, the 8th Cavalry Brigade was formed in Belgium on November 20, 1914, with the 10th Hussars from 6th Cavalry Brigade and the Royal Horse Guards from 7th Cavalry Brigade. Each brigade was made up to 3 regiment strength with yeomanry regiments, 6th Cavalry Brigade with the 1/1 St North Somerset Yeomanry from 1st Southwestern Mounted Brigade, 7th Cavalry Brigade with the 1/1 St Leicestershire Yeomanry from North Midland Mounted Brigade, and 8th Cavalry Brigade with the 1/1 St Essex Yeomanry from Eastern Mounted Brigade. With the addition of its 3rd Brigade, 3rd Cavalry Division also obtained a 3rd Cavalry Field Ambulance, 8th, from England on December 23, and a 3rd Mobile Veterinary Section, 20th, from England on March 9, 1915. In 1915, the division took part in the Second Battle of Ypres, Battle of Frezenberg Ridge, 11–13 May, and the Battle of Leuze, 26–28 September. On February 29, 1916, machine gun squadrons were added to the cavalry brigades, formed from the machine gun sections of each brigade's constituent regiments. 1916 saw no notable actions, but in 1917 the division saw action in the Battle of Arras, First Battle of the Scarpe, 9–12 April. At other times, The brigades formed dismounted units and served in the trenches as regiments under the command of their brigadiers. In March 1918, the 4th, formerly 1st Indian, and 5th, formerly 2nd Indian, Cavalry Divisions were broken up in France. The Indian elements were sent to Egypt, where they formed part of the new 4th and 5th Cavalry Divisions, which played a major part in the successful conclusion of the Sinai and Palestine campaign. The British and Canadian units remained in France, and most of them were transferred to the 3rd Cavalry Division, causing it to be extensively reorganized. The household cavalry regiments were concentrated in the 7th Cavalry Brigade and the yeomanry regiments in the 8th Cavalry Brigade. The latter left the division on March 14, 1918, the day after the Canadian Cavalry Brigade joined from 5th Cavalry Division. The 3 household cavalry regiments left 7th Cavalry Brigade on March 10. They were dismounted and converted to machine gunners as No. 1, 1st Life Guards, No. 2, 2nd Life Guards, and No. 3, Royal Horse Guards, battalions of the Guards Machine Gun Regiment at Etaples. They were replaced in the brigade on the same day by the 7th Dragoon Guards from 9th, Secunderabad, Cavalry Brigade of the 5th Cavalry Division, the 6th, Inniskilling, Dragoons from 5th, Mo, Cavalry Brigade of the 4th Cavalry Division, and the 17th Lancers from 2nd, Sialkot, Cavalry Brigade also of the 4th Cavalry Division. On March 11, all 3 regiments came on the British War Establishment, i.e. changed from a 4-squadron to a 3-squadron organization. 1918 saw the return of the war movement, and the division took part in the First Battle of the Somme, notably the Battle of St. Quentin, 21–23 March, actions of the Somme crossings, 24 and March 25, and Battle of the Avre, 4 and April 5, the Battle of Amiens and the battles of the Hindenburg Line, Battle of Cambrai, 8 and October 9 in the pursuit to the Selle, 9. October 12. Its final action was in the advance in Flanders, 9–11 November. At the Armistice, units of the division had reached the River Dender at Leuze and Lessines in Belgium, when orders were received that they would cover the advance of the Second Army into Germany. They started the advance on November 17, divisional headquarters being established at Waterloo on November 21. Transport difficulties meant that the only one cavalry division could advance with Second Army, so the following winter was spent in Belgium. By March 31, 1919, the division was demobilized. 6th Cavalry Brigade was formed on September 19, 1914 at Ludgershall, Wiltshire, and served with the division throughout the war. 7th Cavalry Brigade was formed on September 1, 1914 at Ludgershall, Wiltshire, and served with the division throughout the war. It was extensively restructured on March 10, 1918. 8th Cavalry Brigade was formed in Belgium on November 20, 1914. It left the division on March 14, 1918, the day after the Canadian Cavalry Brigade joined. The Canadian Cavalry Brigade was attached to the division from April 10 to June 17, 1916, before transferring to the 2nd Indian Cavalry Division. It rejoined the division on March 13, 1918 from 5th Cavalry Division. Royal Canadian Dragoons, Lord Strathcona's Horse, Fort Garry Horse, Canadian Cavalry Brigade Machine Gun Squadron, Canadian Cavalry Signal Troop, 4 Brigade, Royal Horse Artillery, C Battery, Royal Horse Artillery attached to 6th Cavalry Brigade, G Battery, Royal Horse Artillery attached to 8th Cavalry Brigade, K Battery, Royal Horse Artillery attached to 7th Cavalry Brigade, 4 Brigade Ammunition Column, Royal Canadian Horse Artillery Brigade, rejoined the Canadian Cavalry Brigade on April 14, 1918, B Battery, RCHA, B Battery, RCHA. The division was supported by the following units. The 3rd Cavalry Division had the following commanders: Beck, Major A.F., 1935. Order of Battle of Divisions Part 1. The regular British divisions. London, His Majesty's Stationery Office. ISBN 1-87167-09-4.CS1 mate, ref equals Harv, link. James, Brigadier, 1978. British Regiments 1914–18. London, Sanson Books Limited. ISBN 0-906304-03-2.cs1 made. Rev equals Harv. Link. Perry, F.W. 1993. Order of Battle of Divisions Part 5B. Indian Army Divisions. Newport, Ray Westlake Military Books. ISBN 1-871167-23x.cs1 made. Ref equals Harv. Link.